Howdy y'all, it's TJ, and this is the Pulp Review. I cover trad and indie books that are good for your mental health, and I only review stuff I like. No score, just recommendations and a spoiler-free rundown of the good stuff. You ready? Let's rock! Magus by LaPoint. Low on luck, but not on ammo. The last thing Kenneth Jericho needed was a gunfight and a car chase with human traffickers. What started as a bad morning only got worse. A flash of light sends Ken to a strange world filled with magic, hideous monsters, beautiful women, and seemingly unlimited ammo. With pistol in hand, Ken is thrown into a race against time to stop a local gang lord's reign of terror. But is the thug the brains behind the violence, or is someone or something else pulling his strings? When I was young, I, perhaps scandalously, would often pop a bag of popcorn to munch on while diving deep into the fantasy novels from my dad's shelf. There are absolutely multiple volumes of Shannara on that shelf with small, buttery fingerprints on the edges of every page. If there was ever a fantasy novel that deserved popcorn fingers, Gun Magus is it. As featured in the blurb, the inciting incident is nearly your standard "I was doing something and died and now I'm in another world" isekai setup, with the extra spice of the hero biting the dust while living out every conservative American father's secret fantasy of wiping the floor with evil human traffickers. Incidentally, it's little touches like this that level the book up from a mere isekai anti-harem pastiche. Let me tackle that next because it is indeed tied to the plot. As our hero Ken links up with the rest of his adventuring party, a pattern begins to emerge. Nearly everyone who joins up, besides Ken's summoner and mentor, is a beautiful young woman with the hots for this man from another world. But rather than callously enjoying the attentions of these several women to their fullest extent, Ken quickly falls for one of them and makes his intentions clear. Again, a shining example of morality that helps to distinguish and flesh out our hero. Not that we mind reading about the combat exploits of pretty girls. In keeping with the starting theme of A Clash with Gangsters, in this new world too, our intrepid warriors must do what they can to stop a steadily mounting threat that starts with a simple thug. One comparison that repeatedly struck me after the midpoint, and when considering the overall aesthetic, was that of Final Fantasy, specifically number 6. There is a clear shift from part 1 of the story to part 2, a short period of reassembling the gang, then moving on to confront the increased threat. We even have a haunted train. But don't worry, LaPoint puts his own spin on it, including a clever cameo from his book, Chalk. Overall, it's a fast-paced plot that never leaves you waiting for something to happen. I've touched on Ken's character already. What about his comrades? All the good guys seem to be aware of and worship the Christian God. This helps to ensure that for the most part they are also moral. Each magical girl, our lagomorph wizard, and even the fox panda man has a clear and engaging personality and even different modes of speech. It was fun to see how each person's powers reflected their character design, and even more fun to see what powers they came up with as they, somewhat subtly, leveled up in the course of combat and travel. The anime influences here are clear, and LaPoint has the writing chops to draw everything vividly enough for said influences to shine through. Now we've touched on world building as well. God exists in this magical world, and is worshipped properly. The magic is very individual, but those with mastery of lore like the rabbit man Rolfwin are able to identify such personal and often rare classes as the titular Gun Magus. Awesome and devastating magic calls for a dangerous world. This book delivers. Weird and terrifying monsters abound, providing our heroes with the experience they need to take on the big bad in the end. Apart from pulling off a tight plot and fast pace with a reasonable amount of depth, LaPoint is strongest when it comes to dialogue, especially banter. It's quirky, quippy, clever, and never annoying. This is something I noticed in his novel Chalk, and I expected it here too, and was rewarded. This was a really fun world to play in, with unique and attractive characters to follow. I'll be especially eager to see how deeply our heroes can develop their personalities and powers in future installments. So grab a copy today, and don't forget the popcorn! Hey, I've got books too. Check out my heavy metal fantasy adventure, Heroes Metal. A young spell sword falls in with a band of living legends and warns them of an attack from the Hollow Earth. The surface kingdoms brace themselves to fight an ancient threat from deep within their planet. You can grab books 1 and 2 separately or in this handy Demibus edition. You're gonna love it. So thanks for watching, subscribe for more, like the video because you're a wonderful person. Good journey.